Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Females Thriving Over 30 podcast. Today, we have another episode of nostalgia, talking about being millennials, talking about us when we were younger. So, I hope that you like this episode because we have a little twist on how we're going to do this. But before we start, Jasmine, how are you? It's been a while.
I know, I'm very well, thank you. I'm quite tired this evening. It's been a long day. I've been rewriting a module for the university, so it's been an interesting and long day. But I'm excited to be here. I'm always excited to record one of these. I feel
Yeah.
like it's always the highlight of my day.
Yeah, and we said this time we're gonna try to keep an eye on the clock because when we start talking and we never stop, and then these episodes will take absolutely forever.
And how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been like
Good.
a long week. I had people from our office in the US coming over to the UK, so it's been like 3 days of non-stop meetings, and I'm not used to going to bed that late and waking up early and driving and doing things around and being in meetings nonstop. So I'm a little bit like drained. And this weekend is going to be a busy one because it's Miss Surrey and Miss Kent.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
like, why did I say yes to go to
Yeah.
both events? I
Because
mean,
you're dedicated.
to be perfectly honest, I didn't know that these meetings were going to happen. It was a very last
Yeah.
minute thing. So kind of like caught me off guard. But I'm excited for today's episode because we are going to be talking about things that we used to do as kids that won't really fly today. Kind of like they won't be allowed. We will be criticized if we were doing these things. So I started doing a list, right? And I was like really thinking, right? And then I was like, wait a second, let's see what people are saying about that. So I went online and I have in Quora, someone had asked that question and we had people's answers. So I was thinking, like, maybe we can read some of these answers and then comment, and maybe more things will come to our mind. What do you think?
Yes. Good idea.
Yeah.
My memory's terrible, so this will be very good for me to jog my memory.
So let me see if I can find. Okay. When I was a kid, we came and went all over the neighborhood without our parents knowing where we were every single minute. We go out in the morning and come back for lunch and then later for dinner. And my mother never asked me where we were. She would say, go outside and play. There was a wild area, like a park 3 blocks from home, and they would just go in there and wander and like look for lizards and butterflies and things like that. Nowadays, I don't think, like, if someone sees a kid by itself, police, call the police.
I've thought about this because my friend was telling me that their child, their next door neighbours would come in and ask them if they could go out and play on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not yet 3.
So very young.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, like, wow, that can start. Like, I mean, Mila's just turned 3. So I was thinking, like, soon she might want to, like, go out and play. I just don't think I'd let her. I was just thinking, I'm so... And I can't imagine, I mean, maybe it'll change as she gets older, I don't know, but I can't imagine myself letting her anytime soon, or, like, right now I don't feel like I ever would. And when I was young, like, we used to play cops and robbers, is what we'd play.
Oh.
So not only would we be, like, out of the house away with our friends, I lived on, like, a green, so it was like a patch of grass, and then there were 4 alleyways off this patch of grass. So the houses were all around the patch of grass, and then there were 4 alleyways, and so there were no roads. So from quite young, we were allowed to play out on the grass because it was like in the bit.
Yeah.
But then when we'd play cops and robbers, like, someone would be the cop, and then other people would be the robbers, and we'd all run off in different directions down alleys on our own, hiding from each other.
Of course.
I think I was a young girl just on my own, wandering around the streets and roads, hiding from my friends, like, by myself, in and out of alleyways.
Yeah. And people didn't think it was weird because that
No,
was
it was
just like
normal.
normal.
Yeah, totally
It was not what we
normal.
did. Yeah. No, yeah, like nowadays, as I said, like someone will see a child by itself and they will go and ask, like, where are your parents or whatever, and call the police and make sure that that kid is
Yeah.
like taken back home or whatever. But I do remember the same thing. Like, remember like having a bicycle and like going out in the morning with a bicycle. And I was not just like around the neighborhood. I was just going out, like crossing like a highway and everything underneath. Like, you know, like there was like those little tunnels. And I'm like, I could have been taken, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, because like
Yeah.
you're in the middle of a forest as well.
Yeah.
Like anything could have happened to me, and I had no phone to contact anybody. But that was normal, you know, like
Yeah.
my parents didn't know where I was. There was no
Yeah.
way to contact us. They just knew that we were supposed to be at home at lunchtime and then at dinner time.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. You just can't even imagine now,
I
can
can't even
you?
imagine that now. I mean, I
No.
love that freedom. Like, I think I had
Yeah.
a really good childhood. But I mean, I guess the same kind of bad things happened back then than that are happening now.
Yeah.
But I think we're back to the amount of news and information that we have, right? Right now, I
Yeah.
don't think any
Yeah.
of us would be like, oh yeah, let's our kids
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, we were all wandering around on our own back then, so
I know. No, I mean, and you say like, yeah, and I survived, right? And we're fine, but
yeah. But
I
yeah, you
mean,
do now, yeah. Like I know, I mean, we've talked about this before. I'm very much into crime. I'm very much into
mhm.
true crime, missing persons, unsolved mysteries. I mean, now I've had a child, it's like a blessing and a curse because like my eyes are very open to what can happen in the world.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I'm suspicious of everything, and I'm very like it's very at the forefront of my mind.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, another one. This one is a good one. And this is actually one that I had in my list, so that's good that it's here. So, when I was very young, the back seats didn't have seatbelts, and on long trips, my brother and I would often lay down either on the floor of the car or the window. Wait a second. The window would get kind of hot from the sun, though. What window?
Maybe like on the back, like boot, the boot thing.
Okay, I was like, what window do you like? How do you lay in?
That's yeah, that's the only thing I can think of that you could
Yeah,
lay
like
next to a window.
the
The boot
yeah, the
thing.
boot
What's it
part.
called?
Yeah,
Lid thing. Yeah.
and I was just thinking that, like, I mean, when I was younger, the cars had seatbelts,
Yeah,
but
me too.
what I do remember is like it's too many of us that we need to be in the car. So you will just have like the 5 people that fit in the car, and then the kids will be like on top of the parents' legs or in between the legs or something like that with no seatbelt. The police is coming, and then you needed to
Yeah,
duck down
yeah,
so they
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
see who you were there.
That was a thing. Yeah. Or
Someone in the
even just
trunk
like
of the car.
extra people in the seats in the back and you just
Oh
put a
yeah,
seatbelt over two. That
yes,
was a
yes,
thing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean,
There's not even an excuse for that,
no,
actually, is there?
no,
Like they
there's
knew
not.
better back. We knew better back then as well. People knew better
We
than to
did because
do.
like now I'm thinking, you know, like if anything have happened, like I don't think like our parents would have forgiven themselves for
No.
taking us in the car like that, you know. But then I also know that sometimes like there is not enough space. I mean, this is when people were like you were like a teenager, something like that, and people would like go into the trunk of the car, and I'm like, that is first of all very suspicious. If the police stops you, like, what are you doing in the trunk of the car? And two, very dangerous.
Well, I can safely say, like, I've never been in the trunk of a
No, me
car.
neither. Me neither. But I've seen that
I'm sure it
happening.
happened. I'm sure it happened.
I've seen
Yeah.
that happening.
Doesn't surprise me.
Wow. But yeah, not very safety conscious, I think.
Well, even when you think of like when people first pass their driving tests,
Yeah.
I feel like there used to be all sorts going on, like showboating when you first passed your driving tests and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another thing that I think is scary now that I have a child.
Yes. Very, very scary. Okay. Let's see. Let's see the next one. So she says, when I was younger, I walked the just shy of a mile from my house to a school because you couldn't take a bus unless you live exactly a mile or more away from the school. So I think this is more about as well, like kids going to either walking to school or cycling to school by themselves, or like walking to get the bus by themselves, like really small kids.
Yeah.
That nowadays you probably wouldn't see like a 5-year-old
Yeah.
going to school by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so when I was at primary school, that green that I talked about that we lived on down the alleyway and straight over the road was my primary school. So I was
Okay.
literally lived opposite
Yeah.
my primary school.
Yeah.
So, but even
That's
then, I feel
convenient.
like my mum walked me, or watched out the window. So I feel like I didn't have that. But once I was at secondary school,
Yeah.
so I still would have been like 11 in my
Yeah.
first year of secondary school. I used to walk quite a long walk sometimes through a park.
Yeah.
Like through a wooded park to go to school. And it's actually, I don't think I would walk that on my own now at certain times of day. But back then it didn't faze me at all. But like now, I actually think I would be a bit, I don't know, you just think differently. I would just didn't have a care in the world back then. It wouldn't have bothered me at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm scared I walk in certain places at certain
Yeah.
time of the day as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you were younger, you're a bit, I don't know, more fearless, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't
Yeah.
really see that. Gosh, Moflet is trying to get in there. 1 second. Let me see what else. So some of these people didn't really understand what it meant.
Right.
Something that wouldn't work today. So they're just
Yeah.
saying things that they used to do as a kids that they kind of like miss. Very like a lot of people that were a little bit like a little, how do you call them? Like, what is that? Like kids that do bad things. What are they called?
Right.
Like delinquents? I don't know how to.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I've just thought of something, so I can
Yeah.
suggest
Yeah.
one
Yeah. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's not in while you look for one in there. Because we were the first ones in the like internet, like childhood with internet access. I feel like we were unsupervised on the internet more than kids would be nowadays. Like there was something called, it's just come to mind. It was something like Habbo Hotel. Did you ever hear of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
were like
never
a little
played, but
person in that.
I've heard of that. Yes.
Yes, it was like you were a little person in like a hotel,
Yeah.
and but it was like a giant chat room thing.
Yeah.
And there was also something called chat roulette.
Yes.
Where it used to just put you on to chat with random people.
Yeah.
Like as children, we would literally just like do that at a sleepover for fun.
Yeah.
Like how terrifying is that?
The amount of penises that I've seen in that is crazy. And that was the first, like, you know, when you were waiting and someone's like, hello, and you were like, I don't want to see that. You know? Why?
Like, isn't that scary that that's like,
Yeah.
I feel like now obviously that stuff will happen, but because now we're like aware of internet safety, like I don't feel like internet safety and that was much of a thing like at all when we were young.
You could see like a lot of people were like chatting with like young women.
Yeah.
And they were like in their 40s or something like that, pretending to be someone younger. I mean, I think that can still happen.
Yeah.
But I think people are more aware of catfishing.
Yeah.
They were back then.
Yeah.
You know?
And just more like, I feel like parents will be more
and you have
of monitoring it.
Parent control thing for internet now.
Yeah.
So.
Whereas we just would like let loose on the internet. With like not much guidance, you know, like we just like go wild. You go out there, you search that internet.
God. Let me see what else people say. Ride the bike or in the house unsupervised. Yeah, some people are just confusing this. Oh yeah, like this is a very controversial one now. Well, controversial I say because I never thought about this way until very recently, right? I used to go to sleepovers all the time.
Yeah.
To my friend's house. And now people are saying like, I will never let my kids go to someone's house for a sleepover.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what can happen.
Yeah.
I don't know about like, even if I really know the family.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I get it. I get it. But at the same time, those were the best times for me. Like go to my friend's house and have a sleepover.
Yeah. I feel like it's another thing that I've thought about as well.
With Mila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's going to be a while until that, but it's something that's crossed my mind. Like the things that keep you awake at night that aren't even going to happen for years and years. But I was thinking like when the day comes, because the thing is I wasn't only thinking about her going for sleepovers at other people's houses, but it makes me fearful of having children here for
Just
sleepovers.
think, yeah,
Because you hear of, like, kids can say anything, right?
absolutely, yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah, like, obviously you hope that people would only say things that are true, and we obviously have to believe if people say things, and that's the thing, you do. What if, like, people can make things up, right?
Yeah,
So not only
absolutely.
is it like I am thinking about when she asks me and how I'm going to feel about sending her somewhere, and how well do you ever know anyone? So it is hard. And then I also think letting kids into my house to sleep over at the night is putting trust in them
Yeah,
as well. It's like opening yourself up. It's a very very interesting,
yeah,
and I feel like as she gets older it's something that will naturally happen. A lot
yes,
of things I've been fearful of a lot of things already that have now, like, are happening now, and they don't feel as daunting now they're here.
yeah. But they were like
Yeah.
hard before when you were like
Yeah.
already like thinking about them.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how I'll feel nearer the time. But yeah, I do think you can be too cautious. I think there will be people that never ever let their kid have a sleepover somewhere else, but then the chances are nothing will happen to them, and then you've took that opportunity away from them, and
Yeah,
their
exactly. That's
other children might go and they're missing out on those
mm,
events and those experiences and stuff. So
yeah,
it's such a, like, a balance, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. That's the thing. It's like how do you evaluate or like trust on someone's parents? Because
Yeah.
we have people that like intuitively you will know like, that's a little bit dodgy. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't sound right. But sometimes you just hear things from people that you least suspected. So I
Yeah.
I get it, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's just like, but they are not gonna have that experience. So how do you
Yeah.
find the right balance? And then
Yeah.
I never had that thought as you had of like, okay, I'll have them over, but I'm scared about that as well because what if they say something that might not
Yeah.
even be true, or they might have thought that, I don't know, whatever it is that I
Yeah.
gave them for food was something else, and
Yeah. Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
think that I tried to poison them, for example. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's scary. The world
Yeah.
is scary nowadays. And then I don't know why is it like that. Is it because of the amount of information that we have?
Yeah.
Or how did we went from being so trusty to not trust even a fly? Because it might be an AI fly listening to our conversations. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the world, this is going to be my guess. I feel like because we're all so connected now
Hmm.
across the world, and it's easy for people with strong opinions to share their strong opinions. The more we feel like we have to conform with certain ideas, and if we take, like, the pandemic as an
Yeah.
example, you had people that were very opinionated on one way or the other on, like, vaccines,
Hmm.
non-vaccines, whatever. And it's almost like you had to get into one of those clubs to be accepted and show where you stood. And it was almost like if you weren't in that club, then those people think you're awful. It's like there's like a almost like you can create more of like a silo of ideas,
Yeah.
I think. So whether it's maybe just more, like, maybe had more fear of judgment. I feel like there's so many things now
Of
that we,
course.
like, I'm always, sometimes I'll think, oh, I can't say that certain thing because somebody might take it in the wrong way or take it in a
Mhm.
different way to what I mean. So I'm always like scared of offending people, probably more than people would have been when they were less connected, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe now because anybody has access to either public opinion or a platform where they
Yeah,
can share anything that happened at any point. You're
yeah,
also scared of like what are they going to say to me publicly, even though it's not
yeah,
like publicly in the sense of like it's a famous person talking to
yeah,
millions of people, but it's like someone on your surroundings, like in your circle,
yeah,
talking to on Facebook, putting a post or on
yeah,
Instagram or making a video for TikTok. Like the amount of videos that we see on TikTok now of people telling their stories like, look what happened to me. I cannot believe this. La, 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 la. And how many lives that has destroyed.
Yeah.
I think that maybe that's where it's coming from. You're right.
Yeah.
Like that fear of like, not judgment, but fear of that public.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even like somebody tomorrow could make up a story about us.
Yeah.
And they could post it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be people that believe it. Even like, because, anyone can say anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're convincing and they rally up the troops and everyone's saying that it's true, how easy is it for that to happen?
Yeah. Because like we always say when someone is, being detained and whatever, and they're going to have like a trial, it's like innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yeah.
But in these cases, it's like guilty until proven innocent. And you need to
Yeah.
really prove that never happened. You didn't do that.
Yeah.
But then how do you also prove that without getting into that,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I understand that kind of like that fear of...
Yeah. So I feel like, there's probably more fear now around that.
Mhm.
Yeah, how quickly your life can change based on one decision. And the repercussions are probably much bigger than they used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, someone put in here. I mean, I don't think this is something that will be bad right now, but I just remembered this thing so clearly, and I'm like, I miss those. They were so nice. Smoking candy cigarettes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They were so nice.
Yeah.
I just like literally now I'm remembering the feeling of like doing it and eating.
Yeah.
In Spain, I guess here they were saying they were like made out of chocolate.
Yeah.
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 Oh, how nice. How nice.
Again, it's hilarious that we did that though, right? And that they were bought for us.
Yeah. They were like kids fake cigarettes. That was just like...
But even back then, like smoking wasn't as bad. Like obviously you were told
everybody smoked everywhere.
Yeah, like obviously you were told like don't smoke. You shouldn't smoke. But it was not like now. It's like, because actually thinking about it, when we were young, it would have been the same in Spain, I'm sure. You could smoke anywhere, so you could smoke in your car.
Yes,
so you could smoke in your car with your children in your car. You could smoke in any public place, anywhere. Whereas now, obviously, you have to go outside. So that's been the big shift as well.
That is the reason why I cannot stand the smoke from cigarettes.
Yeah.
Because of how I was brought up. It was like everywhere. And now I'm like, oh.
Yeah. We were all secondhand smokers.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just reading this one, and this is funny. This person says like, what? Close to darn near everything, the safety freaks have eliminated childhood carefree activities anymore. And I'm like, true. It's true,
Yeah, yeah. No, it is another thing. Like, even just... Well, we just did all sorts. Like climbing trees and stuff, I guess. I don't know. Do people still do that?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Like, one of the things that I remember is going to like a camp, like a summer camp, right? Obviously, we didn't have phones. We needed to go to a payphone to do that, dial that really long number for our parents to pay for the call, right? And I remember having to walk by myself from the camp to the town to find that phone booth through the forest.
Right.
As an 8-year-old. How?
What?
Like, that was fine.
Yeah, yeah.
How is that? Is that a thing?
That is crazy.
So in a way, safety freaks, I guess like we are, the millennials are those safety freaks, because we start thinking back of what the things that we were doing and thinking that was not safe. Like that we shouldn't have been doing that. So
maybe
we are the freaks.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it comes from like we think like our parents probably didn't know what we were doing unnecessarily as well. Some of the time we think back and we think probably shouldn't have done that.
God. Like everybody, like it's the majority of the things is all about like doing things, climbing trees all the time. I mean, I think like kids can still climb trees.
Yeah, I'm sure
that's
some
forbidden
kids do.
yet.
Yeah, I'm sure some kids do. You know what I saw actually that's interesting, like how parenting parenting's changed.
Yeah.
I can't remember what year it was from. I'll have to try and find it. I saw something on Instagram Reels, and it was an old advert telling parents, your children are, it was like a song with music in that, and it was like, your children are humans too. They have feelings too. Hug your child. It was an advert to encourage parents to hug their children.
To be affectionate with the children.
And it was like an ad where it was like the dad had come home from work and he had no patience with the child, and the mum was telling the child to go away or whatever, or to be quiet.
Yeah.
And the child was like sad in the corner, and it was telling the parents to hug the child. I was thinking, so this was normal? Like, it was normal to not, like, they had to be encouraged.
Oh God,
So
that's so
just
funny.
the shifts in parenting have changed so much.
Oh God. Let's see what's gonna be, like, how our kids will be with their kids. Because if this is us being this way, after having been raised with like all the freedom, do you think then it's going to change? And all these kids that were not allowed to go on the sleepovers, they were not allowed to ride bikes by themselves. They had to wear like helmet, elbow pads, like a sumo suit, just in case they fell from the bike and all of that. Do you think they will then be like, kids, be free?
Probably.
Go
It's probably
out,
a cycle. Yeah, it's probably a cycle. They're probably going to be like, yeah, I didn't get to do anything. My parents didn't let me do anything. I'm going to let my children do everything they want.
Yeah. Like my childhood, I was a prisoner. Prisoner in my childhood.
That'll be my daughter. Mom, you just let me do anything.
It's like, dye your hair? No. Have a piercing? No.
I know, because I think about that as well now, and I think, like, there's no way. She's got beautiful hair. She's not touching it.
So, you know, like, it's one of the things that I regret the most. I think, like, my sister hasn't dyed her hair as much as I had. I think she might have had like those really weird like stripes of like highlights, but that was about it. And her hair is gorgeous, and my hair is like,
no, it's not.
In the sense of like, I wish I would have taken more care of it. Yeah. Sometimes having too much freedom is not great.
Yeah. But I think the one thing is, I always believe like you should live, like you're only going to regret the things you didn't do in life at the end of the day. And you know, like, we do these things, we try these crazy things, we make these decisions, but at least we're not going to get later in life and look back and think, oh, I never did anything that I wanted to do. Like, I never tried dyeing my hair. I never tried doing that. Like,
females thriving over 80, we'll go back and we'll just see everything that we did. Just like, we live a really full life, you know?
You've got to live a full life, right? You can't play it safe all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, we need to make some mistakes and thrive in other departments, or make some mistakes to thrive. So it's all good. Do you have any other example?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of. Maybe we can ask listeners to submit anything that they can think of in their childhood that we did, and then we can discuss them as well.
I think that when we do these kind of episodes, we need to make sure that we obviously like advertise that they have been out, and then ask a question on the stories. About what the topic has been, and then share it or read it in the next time that we do another episode, because I think it will be fun to do that and just get the input. And it's not just us, although we kind of got input from other people that we don't know, that we don't know where they are, but great input.
Thank you
so much for that. Like, it really helped us in that respect. So, well, that's it. I think that thank you so much for listening to this episode of Females Thriving Over 30. All about how we were very free kids, and now we're not gonna let our kids be free anymore, and hopefully how they will let their kids be free. That's the take on the episode.
I am a prison warden of my house.
We need a photo of Mila with like a striped pajamas or something like that, as if she's out actually
at her stairgate looking through.
Through the baby gate. Do you have baby gates or not? Because you have.
We do on the stairs. She can open them. She can open them herself. So She has one on her bedroom that I purely shut while she goes to sleep to deter her from coming out, because she has her own mind. Although she can open it, but it's at least makes her think twice before she leaves the room. And then I open it once she's asleep. But now she gets up in the morning, she goes to the toilet before she's woke me up, and then she comes in and into our room and wakes us up. She's like, I've been to the toilet.
Like, this has just reminded me of one of the things. Like, I'm pretty sure like when we were babies, there were no baby monitors or anything like that. And we were left like in the bedroom sleeping. Our parents were somewhere until they really hear the proper cry, they wouldn't come. And now we have a sleep monitor, fit monitor for the heart, the whatever and whatever. Like that, there was more monitor there than in the hospital if they were like in the NICU or anything like that.
Yeah. I remember once when she was a baby, well, she wasn't, when she was a baby, she was in our room next to me, in like a next to me crib, which I don't even know if they did that, but it was like a thing that was kind of attached to the bed. And then once she got a little bit older, obviously she went in her room, but it was fairly late. Like she was, you know, she wasn't a baby when she went in her room. And then one night, the monitor ran out of charge and I hadn't plugged it in. And I woke up the next morning and I thought, she didn't wake me up last night. I mean, she's never really woke me up much anyway, but I thought, oh, she didn't wake up last night. And then I checked and the monitor was there and I thought, oh no. The guilt. I thought, oh, what if she's been crying? And I've not been. I mean, she's absolutely fine. It's not scarred her. She doesn't seem to know any different. But I still, that was just normal. But I thought, oh my God, I'm the worst mum ever. What if she cried and I didn't go to her? But that was just how they were. You know? That was just one night. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well. So, yes, as I was saying, thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure that you send us some of your examples through our social media, and do not forget to follow us on Instagram and on TikTok at Females Thriving Over 30. That you follow Jasmine as well, and you follow myself on our Instagrams and our TikToks. And we cannot wait to see you soon in the next episode of the Females Thriving Over 30. Bye.